apart from the past video where we did the ANTEC NE700G 80 Plus Gold, right here we have a beast of the power supply, and this is Signature Titanium 1000 watts fully modular power supply. This beast, I would say, this power supply can really pack a punch in terms of giving enough juice to your graphic cards in the RTX 3000 series and 4000 series without you having to think about having any issues with enough power or continuity of the power or anything similar to that. Now, the titanium version, this one particular, and even the platinum version don't come with the specific connector for your RTX 3090, 3090 Ti or 4090 or 4080. Because this still is a bit older power supply, but it's still good if you decide to use some sort of a cable extenders from cable mod that actually can look really nice, and then use this power supply specifically to power up your cards. Now, this one I'm currently using in my simulation rig sim build as well, which is running RTX 3090 Ti, the Founders Edition. And having to say that in combination with 12900K and RTX 3090 Ti, this power supply really doesn't break a sweat. Now, since I stated it's fully modular, we have loads of cables coming inside this box. Of course, you have a power cord that goes from your wall socket to your power supply, 4 screws to attach the power supply to the case, and of course you get some Velcro ties to adjust and reorganize the cable management at the back. Now, with this power supply, I wanted to go, and you'll see everything in my future time-lapse video, which will be based on this Signature Titanium 1000 watts power supply. I'll be building a full custom loop and everything for my sim rig. This power supply, unfortunately, even though it's based on Prime TX 1000 from Seasonic, I unfortunately can't get a decent answer from cable mod in terms of having full sleeved cables from the power supply to the components. So what I did is I used the extenders, and I'll be using the original cables to extend directly to the components on the cable mod extenders, but you'll see that in that video. Unfortunately, as I stated, it is based on Seasonic TX1000, but somehow I can't get a confirmation for that, and that's really unfortunate. Now, for some specifications, basically some features, we have 100% Japanese capacitors, continuous power, and 100% modular, which improves airflow. Basically it does, and reduces clutter of cables in the basement, well, basically in the power supply shroud, and also kind of gives you more options in terms of using only cables that you actually need. Then we have the OC Link. Now, OC Link is something really cool what they designed, which allows 2 signature power supplies to work in tandem to power the most demanding systems, which is quite interesting, I would say. So imagine you have a workstation that actually has loads of graphic cards, or if some of you are still into mining cryptocurrency, then you can manage something like this. Now, for the rest of the specifications, we have 10-year warranty. The dimensions are 150 times 170 times 86. 80 plus titanium certified, phase wave design, a server class full bridge LLC design with a synchronous rectification based on a DC-DC topology. 135mm fluid dynamic bearings fan with a long lifespan, which is appreciated. 0 RPM manager, which gives you an option to control the fan off mode at low loads for absolute silence. So if there's no load on the power supply, or until a certain load comes to your power supply, the fan won't turn on. 99% plus 12 output for maximum CPU and GPU support. Basically what this video is about isn't an actual review of the power supply, because even though I do have a device that can actually measure everything that we're talking about in terms of voltages, there basically isn't any point, since we have 80 plus titanium certified power supply right here on the table. The only thing that we can say is, by looks, it does resemble a bit to Seasonic, and the platform behind it is Seasonic. We have loads of cable connections. So we have 124 pin, 2 8 4+4 pin EPS for your CPU, 8 times 8, basically 6 plus 2 pin for your graphic cards. We have 16 SATA, 5 Molex and 1 FDD. With all the cables mentioned here, it's really strange to have a FDD cable still on the new generation of power supplies, but nevertheless, you've seen me cover the Signature Platinum 1000 and 1300 watts as well. This is stronger and more even reliable. Even it will be strange to have even more reliable power supply than Platinum, but here we go, we have the Titanium version right here. So guys, if you're building a high-end PC, don't cheap out on your power supply. Don't go with, for instance, imagine me going with RTX 3090 Ti and 12900K and cheaping out on the power supply, right? That would be really strange and that would be really risky in terms of fire hazard, I would say. But going out with Platinum or Titanium or maybe even gold, but with high wattage, it will definitely work perfectly fine and you won't have any issues with high-end and demanding GPU and CPU power-hungry components. So guys, my suggestion is definitely to go with something like this, especially if a Seasonic is behind everything, because I really trust Seasonic power supplies, and basically since ANTEC is going with their platform, I would definitely suggest this one, because this one deserves a PC Crazy performance badge, just like the Seasonic TX 1000 watts. But since we're talking about ANTEC, we have ANTEC Signature Titanium 1000 watts. And in the description, you'll have the link directly for this power supply, so you could check it out and eventually decide to go with it if you're going with a high-end PC. For a budget, I wouldn't suggest it because this is an overkill. And yes, sometimes power supply can be an overkill. If you like this short overview and more information about ANTEC's power supply, you can always subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And of course, so you don't miss the time-lapse video where this power supply will be used, and to see how am I going to connect all those cables to the RTX 3090 Ti with cable mod extensions. That would be cool. So subscribe so you don't miss that video. Thanks for watching and hopefully I will see you next time in a new video. Bye bye.